I was kicked out from a $40,000 streamer tournament. If you guys do not know, BasmZB is hosting a tournament called the Deadpool Creator Cup, and it's where 48 creators are all coming together in order to show Deadpool and play the new season for a cash prize of $40,000, sponsored by NetEase, and I was removed from it. Now, do not harass anybody you see in this video.
You understand?
No, it's
Well,
not.
you've been making
Yes,
me play
it
super
is!
cool, so I'm gonna
How
play.
do you not
Wait,
see the problem right now?
Wait, first of all, it's
Dead ass Kingsman, like shut the f up.
Okay,
First of
bro.
You're doing too much.
Lucy's not even on Invis. Second of all, you're getting value because four
No, she shouldn't be dead.
Yes.
I'm
we're
getting
only
value
able to
because I'm
rebuild them
1v6ing.
because Hulk isn't for you, bro. Yes, Zaza is 0-5, but we won the point, bro. Why? Because they were hard. Like 4 people are dying here. That means 4 of their util, 4 of their resources are all spent on Zaza.
So now we've got a full-blown $40,000 Marvel Rivals meltdown on our hands, and it's messy from every angle. One of the players, Kingsman, gets kicked out of a tournament with real money on the line. Not over cheating, not over throwing, but over telling a teammate to switch off Black Widow. That's it. One comment, one moment, and suddenly the whole situation spirals out of control. For anyone who doesn't know, Marvel Rivals is basically Overwatch with Marvel characters and a different vibe. Same team-based chaos, same need for coordination, and the same reality that if one person isn't pulling weight, the whole squad feels it. And that's where this thing starts to crack. At the time this went down, Kingsman was sitting at an 18-2 stat line. He was clearly carrying, doing damage, making plays, and trying to keep the team alive. Meanwhile, the teammate in question had 0 kills. Not low kills. 0. That's not opinion. That's just the scoreboard talking. Now put that into perspective. There's $40,000 on the line. Careers, reputations, and future invites can come from games like this. So when someone says, hey, maybe switch characters, that's not wild behavior. That's normal competitive talk, especially when the team captain is already telling that same player to get off Black Widow. This wasn't some random attack out of nowhere. It was already a conversation happening in the team. But instead of stopping there, the drama jumps straight to social media. The response video drops, and then Twitter turns into a disaster zone. Instead of calming things down, she starts replying, posting, and clapping back nonstop. Every tweet just makes things worse. The comments weren't just critical, they were ruthless. And once the internet smells blood, it never lets up. What really made this blow up wasn't just the in-game moment, it was the way everything after it was handled. Screenshots, clips, reaction videos, and quote tweets start flying everywhere. People aren't even talking about Marvel Rivals anymore. They're talking about egos, accountability, and whether competitive spaces are even allowed to be competitive when money is involved.
I'm making this video in response to Kingsman's video and also to all the chatters that are going to come in and ask questions again. I'm just going to direct you to this.
Yeah.
And it's the last I'm going to speak about.
We're not going to watch this the whole time. I don't want to listen to this for 15 minutes. Don't worry about it.
You guys know there's going to be a $40,000 Marvel Rivals creator tournament happening next Sunday the 18th. And I get to be team captain.
And the wild part is, this wasn't even the peak of the story. This was just the opening chapter. The Twitter spiral that followed made the original incident look small, and by the time the dust settled, the focus wasn't on gameplay anymore. It was on how fast one bad moment can turn into a career-defining mess when everyone's watching. A lot of the backlash really started once some of those comments began circulating online, because the tone shifted fast. People weren't just arguing about gameplay anymore. They were arguing about who even belongs in competitive spaces. Some comments accused certain players of only showing up once gaming became popular during lockdown, saying they never cared about ranked play or grind culture before it went mainstream. Whether that's true or not, that narrative spread quickly and made everything more hostile. What really stood out was how the situation got flipped. Instead of focusing on the fact that the team's strongest player got removed right before a high-stakes tournament, the conversation turned into defending vibes over results. And that's where people started scratching their heads. This wasn't a casual lobby or a content creator scrim. This was a $40,000 tournament. Winning matters here, decisions matter here. Chemistry is important, sure, but performance still sits at the top when real money is on the table.
Saying disrespectful things about the tournament, like us as a team, and like saying we were gonna lose and all that stuff, and like we were in Discord and then saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose, and these guys, my team sucks, and then he was talking about like how some other tournament he's in was like way better, and I think Basm was just not taking that disrespect, and low-key like I didn't want that disrespect either. Like I didn't want someone on the team that was just constantly gonna like talk us to his chat.
By pushing out their top performer, the team basically accepted a weaker position. And once that happened, there was no going back. You lose your carry, your odds drop, and everyone watching knows it. Some fans even pointed out that the team openly admitted there were better players available, but still chose comfort over competitiveness. That choice alone fueled a lot of the criticism. There was also talk about leadership, because once this decision was made, it became clear that trust inside the team was broken. A captain's role is to balance morale with results, and here it felt like the scale tipped too far in one direction. When you're aiming for the top, especially in a mixed skill environment, hard calls are unavoidable. People also brought up the reality of competitive gaming culture. At that level, you want the player who lives in the game, studies every patch, and treats every match like it matters.
I mean, this Buster is 050. I would have been kicked out the day of then. You know, my game is crazy. Chat, do you know that the KP rate for kills in this game is like 90%? Like, if you're part of the game in any capacity and somebody dies on the enemy team, 90% of the time you're gonna get either a kill or an assist off of them. 100%. It's like 90%. Everybody's part of every kill, which means if you're 050 and your DPS is 18 kills,
that kind of focus doesn't always come with perfect social skills, but it usually comes with wins. And in tournaments like this, wins are the goal. What made things even messier was the aftermath. Screenshots from private servers, old messages, and past behavior started getting dragged into the spotlight. Some defended it, others criticized it, but the damage was already done. The removal didn't just cost them a player. It cost them credibility, momentum, and possibly their best shot at walking away with serious money. At the end of the day, this wasn't just about one argument or one character pick. It became a lesson in how fast competitive decisions can spiral when emotions, optics, and leadership all collide at once. Then things took an even stranger turn once the apology video dropped, because the numbers alone told a wild story. 12 million views, yet barely a couple thousand likes. That ratio immediately raised eyebrows, and people clocked it fast. At that point, the conversation wasn't even about Marvel Rivals anymore. It was about credibility, optics, and whether the apology was actually real or just damage control. In the video, she admits her earlier replies were defensive, dismissive, and argumentative. She says she was more focused on protecting herself than actually listening, and that she deleted those responses after realizing people wanted accountability, not excuses. On paper, that sounds like growth, but the issue is timing and tone. An apology doesn't land the same when it feels like it only shows up once public pressure hits a certain level.
Face accountability, now they're the victim. Nope. I think this does have to do with the fact that because they're being hostile and aggressive, and the moment that somebody responds that way, they claim that it's misogyny. You're using your identity.
A lot of viewers felt the explanation came off more like a breakdown of strategy than genuine reflection. She framed the situation using Marvel Rivals logic, saying she played it like ranked, hard defending a one-trick Black Widow, forgetting she was dealing with real people, instead of just characters on a screen. That comparison rubbed people the wrong way. Being a captain isn't just about hero picks and scrims. It's about managing personalities, stress, and communication when things get heated. Instead of de-escalating, the moment turned into something closer to an in-game civil war. Voice chat blew up, tempers flared, and what should have been a competitive disagreement spiraled into a public fallout. Even after things cooled off, critics pointed out that the comments didn't really stop. There were still posts, still jabs, still negative remarks floating around about King's Man across platforms. That's when older behavior started getting brought back up. Some people claimed this wasn't a one-time slip, but part of a pattern. Past arguments, trash talk, and clashes with other players resurfaced, making the apology feel weaker in hindsight. Once that context enters the picture, it becomes harder for people to take the words at face value. The reactions to the video quickly turned into straight-up mockery. Viewers focused on presentation choices, tone shifts, and even the way the video was edited. Instead of softening opinions, it fueled memes, reaction clips, and commentary channels piling on. The general sentiment became that accountability was being talked about, but not fully practiced. By the end of it, the biggest takeaway wasn't about who was right or wrong in the original match. It was about how leadership looks under pressure. In a game where even a brand new player could probably contribute something, the bar for communication and responsibility should be higher, not lower. And once the internet decides an apology feels forced, it's almost impossible to reverse that narrative. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has bad games, that part is normal. Nobody expects perfection every match. But when this is your job and there's serious money on the line, there's a point where excuses stop working. Going 0-5 in a high-stakes tournament isn't just unlucky, it's a problem. At some point, you have to lock in. Competitive games are no different than sports. If a kicker keeps missing easy kicks, they don't just shrug and keep them in forever. Adjustments get made. And the wild part is, Kingsman was right. That's what makes this whole thing frustrating. Out of curiosity, I actually looked deeper into who he is as a player and why his calls were being ignored in the first place.
Okay, guys. Pace and point proven right now.
Everyone thinks this guy's ivory, the splurters, but that's just what happens.
That's such a good point. You're so right about that. And we're still gonna play Widow.
Stat-wise, experience-wise, and game sense-wise, he clearly wasn't talking just to hear himself talk. He knew what he was seeing in real time. Even crazier, people still weren't listening after everything blew up. The Atlanta Hawks of all teams even posted a TikTok joking about the drama, showing how Kingsman must have felt watching his former team get wiped in the Rivals tournament. That's when you know the story escaped the gaming bubble and hit the mainstream timeline. Then Kingsman goes live, and within minutes, he pulls in over $3,000. 5 minutes, just like that. Say what you want, but that doesn't happen if people think you're in the wrong. That tells you how the audience really felt about the situation. What makes the drama feel so pointless is that in what world does he look like the villain here? He had a teammate struggling on Black Widow, putting up weak numbers in a $40,000 environment. He gave reasonable suggestions, not insults, and instead of being heard, he gets shut down. That's not leadership, that's ego. Even other creators chimed in, calling out how badly the situation was handled. At the same time, the Marvel Rivals community started showing its worst side, with people piling on, dogpiling, and saying things they probably wouldn't say face to face. No one's getting rewarded for that behavior, and it definitely doesn't help the scene grow. The backlash kept rolling, and a lot of people felt like this situation permanently damaged reputations before they even had a chance to fully form. Once public perception turns, it's hard to undo, especially when the receipts are everywhere. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Kingsman was right to speak up, or should he have stayed quiet even with that much money on the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the BeyondFame channel, share it with someone who follows gaming drama, and I'll see you in the next one.